How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing, boss?
Doing good, bro. But I'm Red, and you know Mike, right?
I know Mike. And what's your name again?
Red, like the color, red.
Red. Nice to meet you, Red. I'm Talon.
Nice to meet you, man. Talon, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, just so people that don't know you know who you are?
Well, I'm born and raised Binghamton, 27 years old. My birthday is in 10 days, so I'll be 28 the 11th. I'm a father of two. I have a 7-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old boy. They're in my living room now, busting in and out my door. I have their cousin over here too, so it's a little exciting over here. Grew up in the church. Come from a family of 4. I have two sisters and one brother. Raised by one mom. No, my dad wasn't really around like that. He lived in Ithaca, 30 minutes away, but wasn't really around. Still alive. I still see him. Still have a grandmother here. I'm just very family oriented, so I might say a lot, family stuff. I'm not a graduate. I haven't graduated. A lot of people might look at the videos and think, I'm this intellectual person. I've never graduated, so people might be shocked by that. That's a little bit of me. I mean, if you want to know anything specific, you could ask.
Okay. You said you're very family oriented, and I've seen. I've actually Mike sent me some of your music, and when I listen to it, it's very different than what you listen to from other artists around here. I noticed. Like, I've listened to a few people from around here, and when I listen to yours, it resonates in a lot of ways, and it has a lot of social messages in there that you don't see in other artists around here. Is that your style as far as music goes? Is that something that you want to make big in the area here, make it known? Because not a lot of people do your style around here.
Absolutely. Well, I didn't always do that style. I did come from the hip hop genre background, or I wouldn't call it hardcore, but the type of rap that a lot of people like. I used to do that, and you can still go on YouTube and see those videos, and I never took them down because I always wanted people to understand that I wasn't always the way I am now. I wanted people to know that I did come from the street background and so on and so forth, so I never took those down. But we converted over to inspirational / gospel rap, or however people want to label it. We converted over to that about 2 years ago. Kind of always did it, but we didn't really do it all the way. It was just something that my mom planted a seed in us, and we kind of just played with it for a while. And then I think it was one day I did a Mother's Day song. After the Mother's Day song, I think it was like a Easter song that I made for the church. It was all in the church. And then when I got the feedback was completely different from regular hip hop. Like with regular hip hop, people, they drink, they party. You might have a fight by the end of the night at the club. And, so those are the outcomes that you get with certain songs. And when I performed a gospel song, the feedback that I got was like, yo, you helped me change this. It gave people a hope that they didn't have. So I wanted to be a part of, because I understand that music is a universal language, and a lot of people, they may not even be able to speak English fluently, but they can rap your song fluently. You understand? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to be a part of something that would make change. I had no idea that things would get this far. I'm just being who I am. I'm just being, this is what I love to do. This is the passion that God put inside of me. So I just chose to go that route because I just like, supporting people and changing lives. That's just really what my passion is. I never really, outside of football and my kids, I really don't have a love for, people say, I want to be this or I want to be that. I couldn't tell you what I wanted to be, but I could tell you what makes me feel good. And that protest is that I feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I'm supposed to be, because when I woke up, I didn't plan on leading. Like I said on my Facebook post, something just clicked inside of me and just took control, and anybody can do it. So I think that's why we chose to go the way we went with the music that we make, because the people need it.
You said something about the protest there yesterday, right? Is that what it was? Sunday? what you said you just want to get out and make a change there. We see a lot of riots and looting around the country for the last few days. How would you rate yesterday's protest in Binghamton? And did people actually show up to support, or some people show up just to create division, or what happened yesterday?
Um, I believe 90% of Binghamton showed up to actually be there and support and do what's right. Of course, you have your stupid few. And even I went to two different protests. Well, it was two different protests in the daytime, and it kind of turned out to be the same because the first protest ended up marching back to the high school, and the high school had its own organized thing going, and we all met there, and everybody went up to Rec Park. Um, so like it's kind of weird how everything happened. Just bring me back to your question one more time.
I was basically saying that asking if people showed up just to support, or are there a lot of since there were a lot of lootings and riots around in the country?
Yeah,
Has that happened
support.
or occurred last couple of days in Binghamton at all?
That's what I was about to get at. I went to two different ones, and the one at night that I went to, that I actually ended up kind of organizing because it just looked kind of crazy. A friend hit me up and said, "Hey, we're over here next to Dunkin' Donuts." I had no idea people were protesting at night. I thought it was all over. So I walked outside and I went over there with him. Then I saw what was going on and I just decided to try to organize it a little bit. And then I saw this guy. I don't know him. I saw them throw the rock through the Boost Mobile window. I saw that with my own eyes. And it's on my live. I caught it. I caught it all. And I practically chased them out, not chased them out the crowd, but like, yo, bro, we're not here for that. Just if that's what you want to do, get the fuck out of here because that's not what we're here for. That's not what we're standing for. And we're in a position, I understood that we was in a position to set an example for the whole country. Everybody who protested ended up looting and rioting. Everybody. From Philadelphia to Seattle to Texas to New York City to Buffalo to Rochester, everybody looted and rioted, but we didn't, and that's what I was trying to accomplish. And we did it. You know, I'm telling Binghamton that be very proud of yourselves. We made history and we set an example. And if there's anybody who does it after us, nonviolent, it's because they watched us do it and they know that it can be done. And that's what's most important. But I don't think there was many people who came outside to do anything bad. People were really coming together. I mean, I'm born and raised here. I know just about everybody here for the most part. And a lot of people here are good people and they're just tired. And, you know, they saw an opportunity and unity and they took it.
Mm-hmm. What was going through your mind when you woke up this morning and saw what happened to Rec Park?
I was angry. I was very angry, but it kind of soothed me when I saw how many people came together to try to rebuild it already, and they raised a lot of money already. That's what kind of soothed me. Was I surprised? I was surprised, but I wasn't. I was surprised because of what the damage was, but I wasn't surprised that something like that happened. Because like I said, you're always going to have some stupid asshole that just wants to do something stupid, you know? So I'm not surprised that something happened. I'm just surprised of the damage of what happened. Like, and then Rec Park, like, come on, we all grew up here. We all take our kids there. And that's the best park that we have in this entire city. And they just built that for us.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah. So, you know, because of COVID, none of us has really gotten to go out there this year. But, you know, it's unfortunate. Like, you can go on my Facebook and my kids were there just last year. You know, I was extremely mad. I was very mad. But it made me feel a little better to know that people are going to be rebuilding it. And it made me feel a little bit better to know that I believe that they caught the people who did it.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure if they caught all four, but I know they caught one person. I believe there were teenagers, 3 boys, 1 female. They caught the female first, because I believe she did something at Aaron's. I'm not sure. It's a lot of stories out there, but you know they're not going to get away with that. It's too many cameras and it's too much going on, and they're going to get caught.
I thought that was interesting that it started in Rec Park and then ended like it ended in Rec Park, like the fire happened. That was really ironic to me that would happen.
Yeah, I think what they were trying to do was change the narrative. You know, they whoever did it, because you know you go on the news and they'll tell you, you know, protesters this or protesters that, and then there's this lady running for Congress. I don't know the lady's name. I sent her a message because I saw the post that she made talking about protesters did this, and like she blamed it on the protesters. And you know, it's not right to do when you don't have all the facts. So you know, you have your people that's going to judge and say it was us, but the city officials know it wasn't us. Everybody who lives here knows it wasn't us, and the truth is already coming out. You know, they said that it was 4 young Caucasian teens who just, I believe they were trying to get into the protest, and they were doing damage at the protest, and they got kicked out the protest. And I think that's why they did what they did.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
It's unfortunate, man, and it's very sad. And I believe that, you know, they were charged with arson, and I believe that the judge, they're not going to cut no slack on that. Under the circumstances of everything that happened, they're not cutting slack on that. Teenagers are not.
Yeah, that's good.
There's no minor pods in Broome County anymore.
You said you grew up in Binghamton. Do you think that what do you see going on around the country as far as police brutality and all that stuff that's happening? Is it happening in our local areas here too? Because I'm a little bit. I don't live in Binghamton, so I don't hear a lot of news from over there. What are your experiences on that?
I wouldn't say it's as brutal. Like you don't see cops out here shooting people. I mean, I've witnessed some situations where cops had to use, you know, lethal force. But they're not known for that in Binghamton, to do that on their, you know, their residents here. I mean, I've experienced some things before myself. As far as police, I've been choked out by police, put on conscious, false charges, resisting arrest. I can name some officers. But you know, they're not really known for that. I do know some good cops. There's actually a cop who used to be my substitute teacher when I was in 4th, 5th grade in elementary school. He's a good guy. He's a big reason why my brother didn't go to jail for 25 years to life on his kidnapping charge. Officer Wood, I'll even shout him out. Officer Wood, he did some good things in this community as well. But there are some shithead cops and there are some good cops out here. But I haven't seen out here what you see on the internet every day. It hasn't happened yet, and I pray that it never has to happen.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate to see what's going on. Mike knows, and a lot of people know that I didn't grow up around here. I grew up in Africa. But when I moved here, the stories that I hear, I just couldn't believe that that people would go through a lot of this, and a lot of them get away with it, you know. And it's really unfortunate to see that they don't get accountable for their actions, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen, like I said, I've seen a lot of bad things from police out here. Like I said, false charges. Just stupid stuff, man. I just got pulled. I mean, I don't have a license, and I was driving. I just got pulled over the other day. And I was literally outside of my house, and I got pulled over. And it's a long story, but they harassed me, and they set it all up, honestly. And it is what it is, yo. What can we do but do what we did yesterday and hope for change? And that's really all we can do. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, Binghamton's not really like that. You know, this is a good town. It's a good place to raise your kids. A lot of people come here from the city because they want to get away from the lifestyle. A lot of people come here to settle down, you know, raise their kids. The expenses of living isn't that high. I can't say the properties are that great either, but, you know, the living expenses are drastically cheaper than New York City or a lot of other big cities. So the population is growing here and the people are coming here. And it's just up to us to set an example and, you know, to show people how to live the right way out here. Because it's really not that hard. It's not that much opportunity out here. But when I was a kid, we didn't have much, and we all stood together. I can go to my neighbor's house and get some sugar, some vanilla wafers, or whatever I needed. It's not like that anymore because everybody's so separated and segregated and beefing with each other or finding a way to hate on each other, you know, and it's really not that hard to be united. It's just change the way you think, change your heart, you know, and you'll see the change. It all starts with the thought process, though. Change the way you think, you change the way you speak. Once you change the way you speak, your environment changes.
What was it like for you growing up in Binghamton? Like, what side of town were you from?
When I was born, I was living on the west side up until I was 8. I moved to the south side, Park Ave, right off of Vesta Ave, and I was there up until I was old enough to get my own apartment. Growing up in Binghamton wasn't that bad, honestly. I was always into sports. I always had friends. You know, I didn't really have a problem getting along with people. I had a lot of fights in my high school days, a lot, actually. I can actually remember in the year of 2008, I got into a fight every single day of April.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So I've had my tough childhood, but, you know, it was fun. I had fun. I went to parties. I hung out. I had friends. I worked as soon as I was old enough to work. You know, Binghamton is really what you make it. You know, it's like I said, it's not much out here, but it is what you make it, man. You can start a business out here. You can get a house out here. You can build your credit out here. You can raise your kids out here. You can do whatever you want out here. Me personally, I don't see myself living here forever, but I would always come back here because this place has molded me to who I am and what I am, and I've seen so much happen in this place. I mean, look at John, look at Chandler, look at Arthur and all of them. They're right out 7 miles away in Endicott. It can be done here. You know, it can be done here. You just got to put in that work. Nothing will drop in your lap. You know, the Brothers Overall brand, it took me years and years just to get where I'm at as far as music, you know. So to those who watch or who's listening, you know, just keep doing what you love to do. And as long as you do what you love to do every day for at least an hour or two, you'll see some feedback. That's what a wise man told me. Do it every single day of your life, and then one day it will pay off.
Talk about Brothers Overall. What's that all about?
Brothers Overall, BOA stands for Brothers Overall. It really wasn't a music thing. I have a brother. His name is Talon Thomas. Same mom, same dad. He ended up doing 18 months in jail, and during that 18 months, he really didn't have nobody but me and my mom. You know, we made sure he was good. He was fed. You know, he had a long bid. He actually did 8 months in the county jail before he went to court. And then when he went to court, they gave him another 8 months. So he did 16 months straight. And then he came home. And when he came home, he was like, bro, you was the only one that was there for me. Your Brothers Overall. Let's go get that tattoo. So we went and got it tattooed. He got it on his neck. I bitched out and got it on my arms. And that's how that started. So when we started doing our music, because before we were just Juneboi and 2Gs, you know, so when we started doing music, it was BOA, it was BOA, it was BOA, it was Brothers Overall. And that's even before the gospel rap, you know, it was just us. It was a brother thing. And then my brother Rafi, he moved back from Vegas, and he's a singer. So once he linked up with us, it was like, whoa, now we got a complete group, 2 rappers and a singer, like boom. And then we came with the Divine Favor and the Son of a King album, and everything was dope. Like, people right now are buying Son of a King. My Gmail's been going off today because of everything that's happened, which is a blessing too. But yeah, that's kind of how that kicked off. And it really wasn't anything that had to do with music. I think it was just my drive for music that made it what it is now. But it really, like, if I stop doing music today, me and my brother is always BOA. You know, that's what it really is about.
That's what's up, man.
What's the difference between conscious rap and gospel one? Because I know about conscious rap. Like I've seen some rappers like they use pretty much the same concept of talking about special social issues and and justice here, and about poverty, about things like that, um, problems that happen in our society. Is that pretty much how gospel rap is, or is it a little bit different than that?
I don't think it's a big difference. It's really all about the sound and how you deliver it. When you say conscious rap, I think of music or rap that makes you think a little harder. I think of somebody like Eminem. You got to run that back about 4 or 5 times before you even catch what he just said.
Mm-hmm.
Versus gospel rap, I can deliver it in a conscious way or not. It doesn't really. It's not really a difference. It's just more so of a sound. This music is sound, and it's feeling, and it's emotion. Like the instrument can make you feel something and not my lyrics. You understand? Or the lyrics can make you feel something and not the beat. So it's really a connection of both. Come on, kiddo. I need you to. Here go my little boy right there. But what's up, kiddo? I'll be right out in a second, okay? Love you. Mwah. I don't think it's a big difference. I just think it's about what you're talking about. It's about the message. And I think that's what made us go the route that we went, because I don't want to be a person that's, because like I said, music has such a big impact. I don't want to be the person that's making music that's damaging the youth. I don't want to be the person that's telling you pop a perk, pick a bottle up, go to the club, fuck somebody up, and nah. I'm not. You ain't gonna catch Juneboi rapping like that no more. And even when I did regular hip hop, I didn't really talk like that. I talked about hustling, because that's the lifestyle I was living. I don't really talk about anything that I don't know, I haven't seen, or I haven't lived myself. I live the gospel. I try to follow God, so I rap that now. So it really all depends on the message. There's really no difference. It's just the message and delivery.
Do you think that we need more artists like this in this genre? Just for, cause we throughout the history of hip hop, we've seen a lot of different types of hip hop, but a lot of the ones that are more successful are the ones that are more commercial, about, like you said, club, about girls and stuff like that. Do you think we need more positive messages like the ones you guys do out for our youth to listen to more?
Absolutely. And I feel like they're rising up too, because even me, I didn't know that gospel rap was even a thing. The closest I heard was gospel rap was DMX. He might curse you out on one track, and then the next track will pray for you.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a thing. So who inspired me to really take it to the next level was Lecrae. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Lecrae. He did the every day I wake up, but I count my blessings. And then he did the other song. I don't know the girl's name, but I'll find you, no matter where you go, I'll find. That's all gospel music, and that was all over the radio, and nobody even knew it, and I didn't even know it. I'm like, wait, who's this? So I look it up. I go to YouTube. I type in Lecrae. He's got this song called "Pray for Me." He's got, boom, this man that made gospel rap a genre. All right, so let's see if I could do it. And it wasn't even really about going gospel. It was more so about making clean music. We just wanted to stop saying the word nigga and cursing in our music. That was like the first thing. That way, if we ever get to a point where we go to the radio and we could just give them the CD, here, pop this in, it's clean. So it started off with just stop cursing and saying N-word in our music. And then after that, because I'm a man of God, or I follow God or whatever, people labeled it gospel rap, or however. I never labeled it anything. I call it inspirational rap, because I don't want to limit my listeners. There's a lot of people who don't go to church. Right. And they might like that album, but because somebody said it's gospel, they might never even turn it on, because that's not their lane. So I don't really give it a title of gospel rap. I just call it inspirational music, because I don't want to limit my listeners. Now, once you turn it on and you see that I'm talking about Jesus, you're going to get the point. You know what I'm saying? So, and then that's up to them to keep it on, or, turn it off. So I think it's just amazing how far I've come, how far it's a lot of other people out here who are doing their own thing. They sell clothes. I mean, people are just trying to grind, man, and stay on top of the water, man, you know, because it's hard out here, and we're all young, you know, we're all young. Like, oh, there's this guy hitting me up, you know, we're going to plan on taking this logo that Mike made for me, and we're going to put it on clothes. And, you know, and I'm telling him, at first I was like, yeah, you know, I'm going to invest in this and invest in that. But he already is into the merchandise, and he already does this. So I'm like, yo, why don't we just stick your logo on it and use your merchandise and just break bread with me? You feel me? Like, we could all eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all about getting everybody on the same page and everybody making money, everybody feeding their families, everybody is good. We all going to struggle. We're all going to struggle at one point in our lives. You know, at a lot of point in our lives, we're going to struggle. But in unity, it makes it easier.
You said you've gotten a lot of positive feedback, people buying new music and looking you up last 24 hours here. Have you gotten any bad ones? Anybody contacting you with bad intentions? Any bad messages or anything like that?
Oh yeah. I haven't even responded to a lot of comments. There's more so a lot of good comments, but you do have your comments on the internet now. People are saying we still damaged this and we did that. And, you know, I don't pay that no mind. And I remember talking to my brother John Jones last year when he came out from New Mexico before his fight. He came out for Father's Day to visit us at the church. His father is my pastor, so I know all of them. I grew up with them. And John came out here. We exchanged numbers. I haven't seen him in 10 years. Last year was the first time I seen him since he was in college. So when he came, we exchanged numbers and we spoke. Nasir, give me a second. We spoke, and he called me like a day later, and he explained to me. He was like, "Man, I need you to stay focused because you're gonna get to a level one day where, you know, people are gonna talk about you." Because what he did was he took the Son of a King video that I had and he put it on his Twitter to help me promote it. And people were commenting, and some people had negative comments. And right when I saw the negative comments, he called me as if he knew what I was thinking. Like, he called me. He was like, "Listen, man, don't worry about the negative comments." He called them white demons. He was like, when you get to a high spot like that, there are some white demons that's going to come for you. They're going to talk about you. They're going to bash you. They're going to do everything they can to take away everything that God gave you. And just make sure you stay focused. Don't get back online and start tweeting back and texting back. He was like, when I was in the UFC, and he was young and he was coming up. This is way before he was the champion and all of that. And people used to get on there and talk crazy about him. He used to get on there and talk back. He was like, "Don't do that, man. Just stay focused, stay humble, and, you know, and let God work, man." And then look, he turned out to be the champion, and now he getting ready to just give his light heavyweight belt away because I done beat everybody up, and that's how blessed he is. You understand? Even after everything he went through, he still comes out on top because we serve a God who just takes care of us like that, you know. And that's where I'm at with that, man. You know, we just got to stay humble. Stay humble. That's the key.
Yeah, I was listening to that Whoa Jesus video that you put out, and that had like a dope Outcast vibe to it. I was really digging the vibe on that.
Barry shot that one.
Yeah, he did. He crushed it, man.
Yeah, that was actually his idea. Like, he loved that song so much. He was like, "Listen," and I never told nobody this. So, "Listen, I love that song so much. If you can just find a church, make sure it's empty." I said, "Of course, I got a church. You know, we do the One Accord concert every year. I can get a church." He was like, "Great. All I need you to do is get me a church, make sure it's empty. I will charge you $100. I was like, "What?" And you came out my pocket right then and there, and then we got it done. You know, and that's what I mean by, like, the favor of God, man. Like, when you're doing something for the right cause, people just look out like that. Like, we didn't ask for it. People just look out like that, man. And that's what it's about, looking out for each other, making sure we're all good. Like, at the end of the protest last night, I didn't eat nothing. I happened to say that. And out of nowhere, somebody came up with a bottle of water, some crackers. Like, "You've been walking around with this all day?" Like, for me, you know? So that's what it's about, man. Looking out for each other, making sure we're all going to be all right.
That's what's up, man.
Pass that down to the next generation. Come on, man.
What's the plan for you as far as music goes? Do you have anything coming out soon? Anything already out that you want people to check out?
Yeah, I actually have a project coming soon. I don't have a title for it yet. That's why I haven't been promoting it. I've been stuck on a title. We have about 9 songs for it already. This is the project that's coming after Son of a King. I have about 9 songs ready, already mixed and done. When the pandemic happened, our studio time completely slowed down, so we've been kind of like on pause. But as far as my focus this year was videos, because everybody knows we do music, everybody knows we know how to rap, everybody knows we know how to perform, but we don't have that many videos. We have Son of a King and we have Woo Jesus. Outside of that, we just got all my old stuff, you know. So my focus for me and my brothers this year, we want to do more videos, more visuals, so people could actually see what's going on. What are we up to? What are we doing? And that was the plan for this year. And now that we just shot a little bit of Rise Up during the protest. This Wednesday, I'm going to finish shooting. I don't know if I'm going to want people to come out or if I just want to do some individual scenes. I have to talk that over.
That looked dope on a black backdrop.
Huh?
That looked dope on a black backdrop. If you just did a solo video of your performance and then use the other as like cut-in footage, that would look really good, man.
Nico is the one doing it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Nico, hit Nico up, man. Spill him some ideas. Like I'm all for that. I'll pay both of y'all. I don't care. I'm all for that. There was these guys that said they had footage from a drone, and I gave them Nico's number. I said, give it to Nico. Like, I'm all about everybody working together. Like, that's what it's about. Like, how dope would it be if we got Nico and Mike working on the same film? That's promotion for all of us. Like,
right? Yeah, man.
We all did that. Like, you know, so that's what we need, man. We need people to come together and put their talents together. And that's what my concert was about, one accord. I bring everybody together, whether it's poetry, whether you rap, whether you sing. I get choirs to come together. I get step teams from Union Endicott High School to come out. And we did that 2 years in a row. And it was great. It got bigger every year. And I'm hoping that this pandemic, you know, slows things down so we can get back to doing what we do. But those are the things that the community needs. They need more one accords. They need more Juneteenths. They need more stuff like that. So you know, the community knows that we're all together. You can come to my door if you're hungry. You can come if you ain't got no coat. I give you my coat. You know, that's what Christ taught us to do anyway. So you know, people need to know that Binghamton is a place for that. And that's what it used to be 25 years ago when I was a baby. That's what it used to be.
This Rise Up video is about the movement that's going on right now? The music and the video?
I would say so, because Rise Up was actually written like 2 years ago, year and a half ago. We recorded the song and put it out about a year ago. And here it is now. We're like, I didn't even, it wasn't a plan. I didn't wake up and say, I'm gonna shoot Rise Up. Like, it was an idea that clicked in my head, and I called Nico, like, yo, bring that camera out here. I will pay you right now just to get some shots, and then we'll worry about, you know, the B-roll scenes and all of that later. Let's just tackle this protest, because this is what the camera needs to see. So he came out. He was already editing videos. He came out and he did his thing. He got real tired real fast, and then he bounced. But it had nothing to do. The song was written way before George Floyd. It was written around the time Eric Gardner got killed, as a matter of fact. As a matter of fact, yeah, because that's when he said he can't breathe. It was the first time he said he can't breathe, and then me and Rafi went ahead and wrote that song. It was after Eric Gardner, I believe.
Pretty much the same message. It's just 2 years later, and it's pretty much the same problem, same everything.
It's like it was prophetic.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
And it's a time for everything, you know, like that Rise Up wasn't even on Son of a King. That was 2 albums ago. We had Son of a King, and then before that was Divine Favor. It was on Divine Favor. So we're shooting a video from a project 2 projects ago. But it doesn't matter. It's still relevant. You know, my brother, sometimes he has a thing of, oh, it's old to me. I don't want to, but it may be new to somebody else in the world that's never heard it. You know, so we don't never throw music away. We don't never crumple up rhymes and throw them away. We keep them. because that line may be useful to somebody one day.
Who do you want to collab with? Like, who do you want to work with next?
Honestly, there's a couple people I want to work with, only because I want to bring them out their element. I want to bring them out of what they usually don't do. You know, I like challenging people. I'm one of those people who face my challenges. I don't run from them. I'm a very challenging person. I would challenge you. You can challenge me. After last night at the protest, I saw D-Madge out there.
Mm-hmm.
I saw D-Madge out there, and I would love to hear him on a positive song. Like, cause y'all, you know how D-Madge is. You know how he rap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the illest battle rappers out here. Now, if you get somebody like D-Madge to step out his element and do a positive song, what? That'll actually get him to step his shit up. Because all right, now I'm about to drop a record. I got to do it without cursing. I got to do it without saying the N-word, and I got to talk about a specific topic. Not to say he can't. I know he can, but this is something that he usually doesn't do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to work with people that don't do what I do usually, you know, or like I know there's a couple lyrical guys out here who could easily not curse in their record, you know. I want to deal with people who's it's a little challenging. It might take them a day or two to write that. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to bring people out of their element and show them something a little different, because I'm not trying to convert people or nothing like that. Do your thing. But I want to collab with people, and hopefully it'll help change their image a little bit, how people look at them. You know, when people see D-Madge, I'm pretty sure they just look at him like a blood. Everybody know he got shot. He done put in some work out here for Eddie Block and them. You know what I'm saying? But if you get him to do a record that's positive, people might not see that no more.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they see it, they might see another side of him. Oh, all right, so he is a good person. He do got a side of him that I could really rock with. You know what I'm saying? Let me go check him out and see how he really is as a person, before I sit here and judge him and just call him a gang member. You know what I'm saying? I know D-Madge. He used to come to my house and get his hair braided by my sister. He's a good dude. And I tell you right now, D-Madge is one of the most funniest people I have ever met in my life. I was locked up with him, and I've been on the street with him. He's like that every single day. You know, he's a jokester. He makes people laugh, you know? So D-Madge is a person. There's a guy out here named A-Roller. A-Roller Rodriguez is his name on Facebook. I can't remember exactly, but he's a Spanish kid. He's actually the dude that I'm be linking up with to create the logo and the clothes that you made for me.
Yeah.
You know, he's another guy. He's got a different style. He's not talking crazy, reckless. You know, he's a follower of Christ. He's somebody that I really, really want to collab with and get a record done. We actually already wrote something. We just never got in the studio to get it done. It's a couple people, but those are two off the top of my head that I could think of that I would love to do a record with.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the challenges that rappers in the area here face, and what do you think that needs to happen in order to help a lot of these talented people to actually get a deal and be successful?
Out here, everybody just wants to do their own thing. You know, like BOA wants to deal with BOA. You know, you got Don Rilla and FGL. They're in FGL lane. You got these dudes over here in that lane. And then you got these dudes over here in that lane. And I think the biggest problem is with Binghamton is everybody wants to compete with each other instead of being competitive. It's a difference. Because if I'm competing with you, I'm trying to be better than you. Me and my brother don't compete. We're just competitive. You know, because every time we lay a verse down, he'd be like, yo, you got that one. I'd be like, nah, you got that one. He'd be like, oh, I might have to rewrite mine. I'd be like, nah, you ain't got to, like, we're not saying I'm better than you, you better than me, but we're always make sure we both on the same page, and we're bringing the same amount of energy, the same amount of fire, and we're making sure, oh, my bad. And we're making sure, you know, that we're bringing heat and a message.
Push each other to be better, right?
Exactly. You push each other to your best potential. You know, there's people out here who've been doing this for so long, man. They don't want to do it no more because I'm getting a little old, and you know, I always told myself I ain't about to be no rapping at 30 years old. I'm about to be 28. I got 2 more years to go to figure something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, So, and I think that's what it is. People are too busy trying to compete with each other, saying I'm better, or the best battle rapper is this person, or this person is better than that person. Forget who's better. We all nice. We all can rap. But at the end of the day, who's got the drive to actually push? The people out here just need a push. They need somebody to just be like, you know what? Let me show you how to do this, and show them and help them and get them there. You know, nobody really has managers out here. Nobody really has producers out here. Nobody really has engineers outside of Chaz. Nobody really goes to On Point like that, you know? So
is it because you don't have people around here that do that, or just they're not interested in doing that?
No, we have engineers, like we have people, but everybody's doing their own thing. You know, as far as rappers, everybody goes to Chaz. Why? Because we know Chaz has the sound. If you want auto-tune, you can get that. You want your mix and master, you can get that. So Chaz, as far as engineer, he's the man. You can come from out of town, right? And run into a rapper out here, and they'll say, where can I go to studio time? And I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, somebody's gonna say Chaz, because he's working, you know, and everybody knows him. So his name is the one that's gonna come up. But everybody could put their own work in. So when somebody come from out of town, they say, where do I go? They could say Juneboi, they could say Chaz, they could say Mike, they could say Nico, they could say anybody, because we putting that work in together. And when they type in Binghamton, New York, they can find all of us, not just one or two. You know, we all got to do it together. When you drop something, tag somebody that's here with you. You know what I'm saying? When you shooting your video, call people out. But you see people, they ain't really doing that. You know, they just do their own thing. They have their own crowd instead of showing love to everybody. I do gospel rap, and I listen to D-Madge like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the Lord, but I will bump D-Madge every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how I am. You know what I mean? And if we all had that same mentality, we would get a lot further. Because, I mean, think about it. All the rappers that then came here, they're coming here now. You know, I don't feel like we should be paying $300 to $500 to open up for Jim Jones. Jim Jones should be paying to open up for us. This is our city. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't have to go pay $500 to stand next to Dave East and rap when he comes to the Ice House. Dave East should pay me because he coming to my city. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we need to get to a point where they want to deal with us. We ain't trying to clout chase and be next to these rappers. We want these rappers to get next to us. We want them to come sign us on their label. You understand? And we just got to get that mentality. Without that, they just gonna be local artists.
Who in the industry inspires you?
Nobody. No. There's different. Sorry, I had a little call come in. Can you go on your Facebook and hit Black Up? Tell them I'm on a live. I can't. There's different people who inspire me in different ways. Like, for instance, 50 Cent. He's not the most positive guy. I respect hustle. I respect his drive. Yeah, call him now. He's blowing me up. It's DAS. Type in DAS and it'll come up. Give me 1 second, guys. Somebody keeps calling me. I got his kid over here, but I ain't hanging up. DAS, just type search. Right there. Yeah.
Wait, you muted yourself. Hold on.
Loud.
There you go.
All right, what was the question?
Oh, who inspires you?
Inspires me. Like I said, 50 Cent inspires me in certain ways.
He muted himself.
Hold on, man. You're
on mute,
yourself.
man. We can't hear you. There you go.
DMX, my favorite rapper of all time.
Say that again.
DMX is my favorite rapper.
Okay.
Only because I know he has not had a hard life, or he's had a hard life. He's had a hard career. He's been at the top. He's sold almost more records than anybody. You know, you can compare it as far as record sales. He's up there. You know, and he loves God, and he's real, and he's thorough, and he's still the dog. You know what I'm what I'm saying? Like, and I always told myself, if I can meet DMX, that would be like, I just want to sit down with that man and have a conversation with him. Just a man-to-man conversation. Like, how did you get out of the things you got out of? And, you know, he inspires me because his story is crazy, bro. It's just crazy. And he was at the top, he was at the bottom, and now he's trying to come back up again now. You know, I'm pretty sure not like he was back in the early 2000s and 90s. You spoke to him? Oh, probably because you're not his friend. You got to go on message requests. But DMX is my greatest inspiration as far as hip hop because of his story. As far as entrepreneurship, I would say Jay-Z. You watch this man literally take over everything. You know, it's just certain things that make me like people. I wouldn't say it's because of their music. You know, it doesn't have anything to do with music. Music is like the least of all of that. You know, music is like the key to the door that you walk in when you start your career. You notice a lot of people, they start off rapping, then they go into acting, or they go into fashion or whatever. But like, not everybody always does music. I think Snoop Dogg is like the only old rapper now, bro. Like, but yeah, I don't have a lot of inspirations because I don't really like to idolize people. But it's things about people that I like, and I try to take that and run with it.
That's cool, man. That's a great conversation, man. And I agree with you that idea of idolizing people is kind of not natural. You know what I mean? Like there's always good and bad in people, bad behavior and good behavior in everybody. So
that's why I ain't answer. It's like a whole interview, bro. My bad.
oh, is it?
Yeah, shut up at my door. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that it's a good thing to look at it that way, the way you're looking at it, where you like something about somebody, but not all of them. You know what I mean? Like DMX has a lot of heart, and like you said, he's a man of God, and he has a lot of good qualities. But also, he was at one point he had issues with drugs, you know, and stuff like that. So you try to get the best qualities from everybody to
DMX because he never hit it. He never hit it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Slipping, and he said niggas talking shit like, damn, look how that rock got him open like a window, no more endo. Look at the video. Say to myself, that could have been you. Like he was talking about himself smoking crack. You know, like, who does that, bro? Who can do that? You know what I'm saying? And that's what's inspiring. You know, forget that this is one of my downfalls, one of the things that destroyed my career. Let me talk about it. And he made a record out of it. Like, that's real hip hop. Right. That's what you call real hip hop.
It's almost he's using it as a therapy. You know what I mean? Like he's letting it out there, and the more you talk about it, the better you feel about it, about moving forward from it. You know, that's pretty crazy. How was it? How many albums has he released since he got out of prison? He was in prison for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, I don't think X has released any albums, but he's been on tour on and off. I think he's working on a new one. I'm not sure how accurate or 100% correct that is, but I do know he did get released around February. And he's been working on some what is this? Okay. All right. So, I think he's working on a new album with Swiss Beats, because you know Swiss Beats was his old producer.
Right.
Mm-hmm. They stopped working together for a while, and I think they like reunited recently. And I think X right now is just, you know, he's just staying clean, staying positive, staying focused. And I think he's trying to get back on tour, but you know, for a while they had stopped because of his child support. They took his license, they took his travel. He couldn't travel, he couldn't make movies. Like they literally violated him. Like, how was this man supposed to, y'all lock him up for child support? But then he can't go. He's an actor and he's an artist and he goes on tour. You're telling him he can't travel. You're telling him he can't make movies. He can't do none of this. But how's he gonna pay his child support?
Right.
So it's like he's one of us. He's one of them guys that's stuck in the system, except for he just happened to be on top. He's one of those guys who made it, but he's still stuck in a system that had him trapped before he even made it to where he made it, you know? And he never hit it. That's why he's my favorite.
Right. Yeah, I agree. A lot of his music was straightforward. He never sugarcoated anything. He never tried to be somebody else.
Never.
He's definitely on my bucket list of like someone I want to work with.
Curse you out and then pray for forgiveness, right? Like, X is the truth, man. You know, people like that don't come around all the time. People like Michael Jackson don't come around all the time. When you have those people like Nipsey Hussle, like we talking about a gangbanger who took his hood, his whole block and his hood from the top to the bottom, and he employed people. He made a store, called it the Marathon, and took people out of prison and gave them jobs. Mm-hmm. That's hip hop. That's what we supposed to do. Hip hop ain't music, it's a culture.
You ever notice that people that try to do good like this, like don't last in other music or the film industry very long? They're always trying to find a way to bring them down.
Absolutely, because they're afraid. You know, those people. When you have people that make it to a certain level, you know, and they have a voice and they can reach the multitudes of people. If they can't use you for their benefit, they'll find a way to get you out the way. You know, I mean, look at all of our leaders, all of them. Even Nipsey, even with him being a gangbanger, the moment he started doing something that started changing and saving lives, even though he was killed by another black man, why though? Mm-hmm. You know what? Nobody even really knows why. Still to this day, if he was hired or not, like. All we know is Nipsey called him a rat, and in California, you get killed for stuff like that. But even still, why though? Was it this broad daylight? This is somebody who's changing lives. Why? You know, Martin Luther, MLK. I mean, at all of our leaders eventually. But look what they did to Christ. This is what it is. What it is. You know, he said, if they persecute you, just know they persecuted me first. You know, so. Sometimes this is what the leaders have to do. It's the sacrifice that we make. We don't feel safe like that. When, like yesterday, anything could have happened to me, but it wasn't even in my mind that something was going to happen to me, because that's just not where my mind. That when we go out there and we do the things that we do, we don't think about getting hurt. We think about everybody else.
Right. Were there a lot of cops yesterday in the protest? I forgot to ask you that.
Oh yeah, they were there every block.
Was like ready for, like they had their riot gear ready and everything?
No, it wasn't even like that. And that's another reason why you know, Binghamton did a great job. The police did a great job. You know, they didn't make us feel threatened. They were out there. They lined up. They did what they had to do because that's their job. But when it came down to people in the middle of the street with the cars and all of that, they were getting out the way. They was making ways for us, you know? So good. I feel like everybody did their part. You know, the thing that happened when it went left at the end of the night, it was just that was just ignorant people that just wanted to be ignorant. But for the most part, the entire city of Binghamton showed out yesterday. Police respected us. They did their part. We respected them. We did our part. And it was a great turnout. Binghamton made history, and we set an example for an entire country. Little old Binghamton.
Mm-hmm. You know what's pretty cool? Out of all this rioting and looting, you start to see some good ones, some good cities that are doing something right inside all this chaos. Like I'm not sure if you saw those videos out of Flint, Michigan, with those. No. I
haven't.
You haven't? So they had there's a town that was protesting, and the cops basically went and talked to them, and they eventually walked with them too. So the cops joined the actual marchers, dropped their riding, like the gear that they had and everything. They dropped it and they started walking with the actual people and have signs on and all that stuff.
I might have saw pictures of
that. Yeah, and I think it happened here in Auburn too. Auburn had a protest yesterday, and they did the same thing. They had their cops, all of the cops basically got down on one knee and everybody did too, and they just started praying together and holding signs together and marching together. It was just a beautiful thing to see out of all this chaos, and hopefully a lot of cities actually join, the cause like this and actually show unity with people instead of showing aggression and beating up people that are protesting. Absolutely,
it can be done.
It can, yeah. And those people show us that it can be done, right?
It's got to keep rising up, man. Like I said on my post today, God gives us free will, man. Don't nobody make us do what we do. You can choose to lead, or you can choose to follow. That's a choice. I didn't wake up thinking that I was going to do that. I would have never even imagined in a million years a video of mine went viral. I would never then think about it. I didn't even know about it. My phone died last night. I woke up, and instead of hearing ding, ding, I heard it just went off. Like I just did what I felt like I was supposed to do. Just like when the first protest happened in Minneapolis, the young girl with the dreads. Everybody turned out to be watching. There's 1 million people going live, but everybody just so happened to focus on hers because of her energy, because of how she was moving and how she was chanting and how she was trying to keep the peace. And that's what people need to see. I just so happen to have the energy, and I've been real angry. I said a whole prayer. I haven't prayed in like 3 months. I said a whole prayer before that protest, and maybe that's what it was. I spoke to God for the first time, and then he turned around and did something for me, So I don't know what it is. We'll never know, but we just have to do our parts, right. And then you'll see the outcome. Let God do the rest.
I think a lot of us are fed up with this at this point. You see it every few months. You'll hear a case like this that's happening in the news. And if it's not in the news, you'll see somebody who recorded a cop or a person being abused, and it just, at this point, something has to change. You know what I mean? Like it just keeps happening and happening, and
it has to start with the force, though. I honestly believe that it has to be the higher ups to change it.
It does, yeah, I agree.
You can't do it from the bottom. It has to start from the top. The people who are in control of laws and in control of who gets to put on a uniform, who gets to put the gun and the badge on, they have to reconstruct all their training. And it seems like every 2 years we're saying the same thing. We got to retrain the cops. Like, it shouldn't even be that. You need to really investigate who you're hiring for these jobs before you let them put on that badge and that uniform and that gun, because they could have a whole nother mission. They could want to become a whole cop their whole life just so they could kill a nigga.
Right. And I think go ahead.
You have to really, I think, the higher ups really have to investigate and start, doing bigger backgrounds, deeper backgrounds onto who they let join the force. And then you change some laws around. You change around some things that, will make the community feel safer. The cops could do their job a little bit better. They don't need to use half of the force that they use half of the time. I watched the mayor freaking buy army trucks for the Binghamton police. I don't understand why. It's a waste of money. You can put money into different things for the community. As far as I'm concerned, we got one Boys and Girls Club. Why can't we have two? I want more apartments. Why you're wasting money on, like, the man spent $5.5 million on the baseball stadium, and we might not even have the freaking team by this year. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yeah. The people that are in the higher up positions to make change need to make better decisions.
Right. I think part of the problem is if you don't admit there's a problem, then nothing's gonna change. And if you see like a lot of people that are higher up start making statements, they're saying there's no systemic racism. There's nothing to see here. We're just an incident and it's gonna go away. And it just keeps happening. You can't just keep ignoring it over and over and over again. It's just something has to be changed.
Right.
And I think that's why people are just out in the streets at this point. There's nothing else they can do. They keep saying that it's not happening, where it's literally all we see out, and on the internet now, that it's out in the open. You can't hide it. You
Right.
can't say it just doesn't exist or there's no camera
Camera
crew.
There's
Everybody is a reporter at this
living
point.
in a time where you could hide anything. Like,
Right.
you can't even steal a candy bar anymore. Like, it's you can't hide anything. You know, you're somebody saw you. Somebody somewhere saw you do that. So, you know, I don't know, man. People just got to make better decisions. I didn't get a chance to actually sit down and speak with the mayor, but he came to the MLK march this year, and we called him out. We called him out. We wrote a song called "We Need Prayer," and we performed it. And my verse was specifically for him because I was just in jail this past January for a violation of probation. And the things that I saw in jail, I haven't been in jail in a long time. So when I went this time, a lot was different. You know, they had freaking tablets and shit now in jail. Like, that shit, it was really weird to me. But I kept the tablet. You know, the stuff that they feed us, the stuff that how they treat us, how they talk to us, the freedom that we get, the medical treatment. We don't get medical treatment. Like, it's a lot of stuff in there that, you know, it's a private jail, you know, and maybe the mayor can't really do much about that, but he could say something, and you're not saying nothing. You're not doing nothing. And how many people have died in that jail in the past few years, and you're not doing nothing, you know? Out, kiddo. I'll be done in a minute, okay? You know, so I just feel like, especially Mayor Rich David, I feel like he doesn't spend the money wisely. I really don't feel like he does, because if he did, he would have a baseball team. You know, I just feel like a lot more has to be done on his end as far as the city. He's constantly buying new gadgets for the police. It's ridiculous. That pisses me off the most. And it just upsets me that every year he comes to this MLK parade or this march or this program that we have, and he writes these little pre-written statements and pre-written you know, letters or whatever that he reads off. And I put all of that in my verse. That way it was like soon as he went up there to talk, it was like contradicting. Like, he just said you was gonna do this in his song. Like, you did it. Like, and it's, you know, so I didn't want it. The first year we did it, we shook his hand, and next year we didn't, you know, because we're understanding, like, you sit up here and you say you really for the people of Binghamton, but are you really, you know? What are you doing for us? You spend all this money on the road and everything else, but look at Liberty Street, look at Munsell Street. That's a whole block that could be fixed up, people could live on, you know? And apparently somebody invested into it, and they're supposed to be rebuilding it sometime, but Binghamton didn't put no money into that. That was donated. You know, so I just feel like when it comes to the leaders, man, it's up to them. It's up to the people that's in office to make that change. The people will follow suit, but they got to see it from them first.
I agree, man. That's 100%. If people want to find you or follow you online, where would they go?
You can go to Facebook, or you could just literally type in Juneboi on Google, and everything will pop up. It took me a long time to get that to happen. But yeah, Juneboi. You could type that in on Google. You could type that in on YouTube. On Facebook, it's The Real Juneboi, THEREAL, Juneboi, JUNEBOI. I'm not really on Twitter much, but I believe it's the same thing, The Real Juneboi, or Juneboi F, or something like that. There's only one Juneboi, so if you go on any site and type it in, you'll find me. Because I, like, as far as my numbers, nobody has more numbers than me, and with that name, so I would come up. As far as Facebook, it's my first and last name, Talon Thomas. There's like literally 5 of them, because I like kept losing my password over the years. But if they see it and they see the you know, the protesting pictures and all that, they'll know which one to go to. Because I'm very active on it. So they can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google, YouTube. I'm everywhere. SoundCloud is the same thing. Juneboi, 7-letter words with an I, not a Y. They can find me everywhere.
That's cool, man. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it, man.
On iTunes and stuff like that.
iTunes.
that yet. I'm working on iTunes, Spotify, and all that.
There you
good stuff.
go. That'd be fun.
I haven't got there yet, but we're gonna get there, God willing.
All right, man. Thank you. I appreciate you coming through and speaking to us, man.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, man.